Or alphas, where you just standing there thinking no one noticed your misstep, thinking the shadows weren't watching, thinking that silence meant safety. But now look at you. Look at them, because yes, someone noticed. Yes, someone saw. And yes, they're in that group chat right now, right this very second, breaking you down like a detective at 3 a.m., pacing around a murder board, tying red threads from your every move to your every word, trying to make sense of you, like you're a whole damn Netflix crime special. And you know what that means, don't you? It means your life has become content for the weak, the jealous, the bored, and the broken. They aren't just watching you, they are studying you, they are dissecting you, like your soul is a specimen, and their screen is the autopsy table. They're whispering and laughing and gasping, saying, "Who? TF did that?" With your name right at the edge of their tongues, because you did something they couldn't do or wouldn't dare. And now they have to cope. They have to categorize you. They have to analyze you like a phenomenon they can't understand, because the truth is, your power frightens them, your boldness confuses them, your freedom offends their cages. And now they have to deconstruct you, like you're a glitch in the simulation, because if they don't, their own lies fall apart. And that is not something they're ready for. But you don't even flinch, because you were built for this, weren't you? You were molded in pressure and spit on by the same mouths that now mumble your name in group chats like a cursed legend. And here's the thing, alphas, here's what they didn't understand. When they pressed play on that imaginary documentary of yours, you are not the victim. You are not the villain. You are the damn plot twist, the kind that makes them pause and rewind because they can't believe what you just did. And no amount of analysis will make you predictable, because chaos doesn't follow scripts. And you are chaos wrapped in elegance, destruction disguised as grace. So let them talk. Let them obsess. Let them turn every moment of yours into an episode, because every scene they dissect is another reminder that you are the main character, and they are just extras huddled in the audience, trying to feel important by narrating your story. They don't even realize that while they're busy gossiping, you're evolving. While they're busy reviewing season 1 of you, you're out here filming season 10 with a budget they couldn't imagine, and a plotline they'll never keep up with. You see, it's not about the group chat. It never was. It's about the fact that you've become so rare, so unapologetic, so threatening to their equilibrium that they need a damn support group. Just to process your existence, they need memes and theories and side-by-side comparisons, just to try and make sense of a creature like you, because they've never seen one before, and probably never will again. And oh, you thought they were mocking you. You thought the whispers were insults. No, my alpha, those are confessions. Confessions that you disrupted their order, that you're mere being unsettled. They're illusions, and now their only weapon is words, spit out in fear-coded language, because truth is too sharp and cuts too deep, and they can't admit that you're what they wish they could be. And that should be your fuel. Every time you feel watched, every time you hear laughter behind you, every time someone says, "Did you hear what they did?" you stand taller, because your life is so grand. It requires commentary. It's so damn bold. It needs analysis. It's so fiercely you that it cannot go unnoticed. And that is your power. You walk into rooms and become the conversation you breathe. And the world stutters. You fall. And even your stumble becomes a legend. Because when real power shows up, it doesn't need explanation. It doesn't need defense. It just is. So here's your reminder, Alpha. While they're busy binge watching your life in stitching together their little episodes. You're out here living, unedited, unfiltered, unrelenting, because you didn't come here to be liked. You didn't come here to be understood. You came here to disrupt, to awaken, to drag truth like a blade across the faces of those who sleep in delusion. And if they can't handle it, then let them form their little crime unit and debate your every move. Because obsession is just fear dressed up in fascination, and their addiction to your name is proof of your impact. Keep being the plot twist. Keep being the case they can't solve. Keep being the hurricane they pretend didn't destroy them, because deep down they know they did that. They made you this. They forged you in hate, and now they don't know how to undo you. They wrote the story and didn't expect the main character to turn villain, to turn God, to turn force of nature. And now they want to rewind, but life doesn't come with a remote, and you don't come with an off button. They'll call you too much, too loud, too different, too dangerous. But what they really mean is, you're too awake for their sleepwalking world, and they can't handle the glare of your truth shining in their dim little rooms. So let them have their chats, let them analyze, let them spin their theories, because the moment they stop watching is the moment they'll have to face their own reflection. And they'd rather study you than deal with the horror of what they've become. You are the mirror they refuse to look into. You are the question they're too scared to ask you. Are the story they can't tell without trembling, because you walked through every fire they tried to burn you with and came out carrying the flame. So burn brighter, louder, wilder. Give them something to talk about. Make every whisper a scream of envy. Make every message in that group chat a prayer they weren't brave enough to say out loud, because you did that. You really did that, and they know it, and they'll never forget it. And while they rewind your moments and slow down your moves, frame by frame to try and catch a slip-up they can exploit, you're not slowing down, you're accelerating, because your purpose doesn't wait for anyone, especially not for background characters in your saga. Their obsession is the side effect of your rise, and their judgment is the soundtrack of your breakthrough, because people don't talk about what doesn't matter. They don't dissect the average. They don't screen, record the mundane. And if they've turned you into a spectacle, it's because you are already more than they could ever contain. So let them scramble for meaning in your silence. Let them overanalyze your glances and your steps and your storms, because while they're watching you, you're building what they can't even imagine. You're stacking wins. They can't predict you're mastering a life. They can't survive. And with every whispered, "Who TF did that?" they're acknowledging your evolution. Even if they pretend it's a crime scene, even if they try to put your ambition on trial, they are still watching. And when the envious watch the alphas rise, it's always with a mix of terror and awe, because deep down, they know they're watching history, and not everyone has the heart to applaud a god they didn't create. And don't you dare shrink. Don't you dare dim. Don't you dare try to become understandable for people who need a group chat just to agree that you're intimidating, because your greatness was never meant to be digestible. It was meant to be undeniable. It was meant to break patterns and crack illusions and turn average minds into chaotic messes of confusion and curiosity, because that's what power does. It disturbs the sleepwalkers and calls out the cowards. And if your name is in their mouths, it's because you stepped into a frequency they can't reach. So now all they can do is comment from below. You were not born for soft applause. You were not crafted for quiet corners. You were not built to be background static in someone else's episode. You were meant to command attention. You were meant to distort the signal and turn every head when you enter, because real ones don't walk into rooms. They change them, and that's what scares them. They know they can't go back to the way things were before you arrived, because now there's a mark. Now there's a difference. Now there's a new standard, and it's you. And it doesn't matter how much they gossip or mock or critique, because while they speak your name, you're becoming something else, something more, something untouchable. And by the time they finish episode 1 of their little breakdown, you'll be living a whole new chapter. They couldn't even script, because evolution doesn't wait for permission, and transformation doesn't care who's watching. They'll say, who do they think they are? But that's just projection. They know exactly who you are. They just don't want it to be true, because if it's true, then their excuses dissolve. If it's true, then their limits are a choice. If it's true, then your very existence exposes their stagnation, and that's a truth they're not ready to hold. So they turn to sarcasm, they turn to critique, they turn to groupthink, because that's easier than admitting you are what they wish. They had the courage to become. And don't be surprised when they try to rewrite your story, when they twist your intentions, when they tell others their version of you, because villains always get remixed. In the stories of cowards and legends, always get distorted by the mouths that couldn't contain them. They'll call you difficult when you refuse to be controlled. They'll call you arrogant when you stopped shrinking. They'll say, you changed when you evolved past the lies they built their comfort around, but you keep moving, you keep shining, you keep building your empire on the ashes of their doubt, because you owe them nothing and you owe yourself everything. This is your era. This is your storm. This is your spotlight. And if it makes them uncomfortable, good discomfort is the sign of growth. It's the sound of walls breaking. It's the price of waking people up from the lies they fed themselves. And if your truth makes their bones shake, then let them tremble. You weren't sent here to soothe them. You were sent here to shake the ground, and anyone who tries to reduce you to a joke or a scandal or a drama is just trying to make sense of something they could never be. Let them call you too much. You are too much. For small minds, too much. For fragile egos, too much. For rooms that weren't ready. And that's not your burden, that's your crown. So wear it loud. Wear it like armor. Wear it like the reminder that every time they talk about you, they prove you matter. Every time they analyze your steps, they confess that they can't compete. And every time they try to turn you into content, they forget the most dangerous thing. You're not a story. You're the author. So write louder, speak bolder, walk harder. Because if your presence disturbs the peace, then maybe the peace was built on your silence. And now that you're awake, now that you're unchained, now that you are unapologetically dangerous again, they have to scramble for relevance in the face of your return. And the group chat is just their panic room, where they go to process the storm. They couldn't stop. You didn't ask for the attention, but now that it's here, use it. Convert it into fuel. Turn the whispers into war cries. Turn their surveillance into spectacle. Turn their obsession into opportunity. Because when you own the narrative, they can't weaponize your story against you. And when you walk in, truth, they have no angle they can use to trap you. You are not the mystery they're trying to solve. You are the revolution they never saw coming, and their confusion is the clearest sign. You're on the right path. You've become the plot twist. They didn't write into their version of reality, and now they don't know how to continue without you being the center. And that's their problem, not yours. Let them binge watch your boldness. Let them do character analysis of your rage. Let them clip your moments like scenes from a documentary, because you are living proof that freedom is possible and nothing terrifies the bound more than someone who broke the chains and never looked back. This is what being legendary looks like. This is what being ungovernable feels like. This is what it means to be the one. And if your existence forces them to organize meetings just to decode your moves, then guess what? Mission accomplished. You are shaking systems, you are dismantling narratives, you are forcing mirrors into faces, and not everyone can handle their own reflection. And now, they're doubling down, building theories around your silence, giving your presence its own mythos, like your life is an unsolved murder scene, and they're all playing detective. But they forgot something critical. This isn't their documentary. This isn't their investigation. This is your uprising. And every time they whisper, "Who Tef did that?" with all disgust, confusion, reverence, behind those eyes is fear. They fear the way you move through walls they never even dared knock on. They fear how you love loudly without asking for permission, how you break patterns like they were paper, how you wear your pain like diamonds and your shame like a sword. And that terrifies them, because you are not soft, you are not simple, you are not scripted, and their world is built for followers, not fire starters. And here you come, a whole inferno crashing into the village of the small-minded, with no apology and no filter and no leash. And it drives them mad, because deep down, they know you didn't fake your way here. You didn't network your way here. You didn't beg or mimic or beg for crumbs. You carved your way through reality like a scalpel, through skin, and now the wound of your presence is bleeding through every conversation they try to keep clean. They can't stand that you didn't ask for their approval, because they need it like air. And here you are, breathing in your own oxygen, building your own lungs, speaking your own language they can't translate, and they will always hate what they can't understand. They will always mock what they cannot contain. They will always turn power into pathology, because it's easier to call you crazy than admit you're free. But the thing about being watched is this: it means they've already surrendered their gaze. It means you've become the gravity pulling their focus. It means they can't look away, because something in you threatens the illusions they call home. And that is power. Power is when your name enters a room before your feet. To power is when your presence forces conversations behind closed doors. Power is when your existence becomes the curriculum they study in silence, and none of them can explain it without confessing your greatness. So let them try to turn your evolution into evidence. Let them file your confidence under dangerous. Let them stitch together their little stories about you. Because when the weak tell stories about the strong, they always miss the plot. They can't imagine a world where you win on your own terms, where you set your own rules, where you don't beg for a seat at their table because you came to flip the whole damn table over and build something that doesn't require permission to exist. You are not a suspect. You are not a suspect. You are the storm that broke the simulation, and their group chat is nothing more than a bunker, a panic room where they try to convince each other that they're still in control. But deep down, they know they're not, because you already escaped. You already transcended. You already became too big for their labels and too sharp for their manipulation. And now, they're left with screenshots and shaky stories, trying to capture what cannot be captured. You are the ghost in their machine, the glitch in their reality, the reason their system keeps crashing. And the more they talk, the more they reveal that they are not free. The more they analyze, the more they prove they are stuck, watching you while you live, watching you while you create, watching you while you rise, and they can't take their eyes off it, because your life is what they want to believe in, even if they won't admit it. And don't you ever lower your volume because of their noise. Don't you ever step quieter because they're rattled. Don't you ever stop moving because the watchers can't keep up. Because this life, this path, this power was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be real. And the real ones don't flinch. The real ones don't pause. The real one don't wait for permission. They build legacies in silence and shatter timelines in motion. And that's you. You are the sound. They can't silence the storm. They can't map the fire. They can't extinguish. And they'll try everything. They'll try rumors. They'll try shame. They'll try rewriting your script with trembling hands. But the truth stands louder than any whisper. The truth walks taller than any lie. And the truth is, they're obsessed because you are undeniable, you are inevitable, you are unrepeatable. So let them debate your audacity. Let them dissect your style. Let them project their fears onto your freedom. Because while they gossip, you grow. While they mock, you manifest. While they type, you take over. And one day they'll realize they weren't spectators, they were witnesses. And what they were witnessing was the rise of someone who refused to play small, refused to bow down, refused to dilute their essence for the comfort of the cowards. And that will haunt them more than anything else. Not what you said, not what you wore, not what you did, but that you did it boldly, that you did it fully, that you did it without them. And now they have to live with the fact that they were in the presence of greatness and chose to whisper about it instead of becoming it. They chose the group chat over growth. They chose observation over evolution. And now they're stuck in reruns while you're living the finale that they couldn't even dream of scripting. You are the main event. You are the closing credits. You are the story they'll never stop telling. And that is your vengeance, not in violence, not in reply, not in dragging them through the mud, but in ascending so high that their opinions turn to dust, that their judgment becomes irrelevant, that their analysis fades into static. Because legends don't answer critics, legends don't join debates, legends don't descend to be understood. They rise until understanding is impossible. So walk like they're watching, because they are. Move like they're obsessed, because they are. Speak like they're quoting you, because they will be breathed. Like you're breaking rules because you are live. Like your life is a revolution, because it is. And when they say, who? TF? Did that? Let the silence answer. Let the results answer. Let the empire you built in the shadows speak louder than every whisper. In that group, chat ever could. You're not just living, you're echoing. You're becoming the myth they'll never forget. And every time they press play on your downfall, they accidentally screen a masterpiece because you are not content. You are a creator. You are not a mystery. You are a miracle. And no amount of analysis will ever decode the divine chaos that is you. So stand tall, alpha, with the weight of their stares on your shoulders and the fire of your purpose in your chest. Because the ones who shake the world were always first misunderstood, always first mocked, always first feared. And now, it's your turn. Now, it's your season. Now, it's your episode. And you didn't come here to be liked. You came here to be legend.